In The Color of Money, the movie, uh, there was a code between gamblers of how to honor the terms of a bet, um, and they could use trickery and word play, kind of like they could use wordplay, but as long as it rang true once the the the, the fulfillment of that bet, it was like a prophecy. But they had to honor these terms and then recognize when it was fulfilled in a way, then they would fork over the money. Not a problem. They're not still being pedantic or talking past each other, agreeing and stuff like that. They knew, like they knew when the bet was up and when it was time to pay, because they had this code, and that was like more important. Like it was like the lifestyle of this, you know, the color of money, this gambling. Not being in your feelings, and of course you're only supposed to gamble what you can afford to lose. So it wasn't about trying to, get a bag or anything, but there's a similarity, right, that you have to interpret, that if someone can copy you and do a better version or something, it's kind of like annoying, especially if it's for all of these like other exploits that previously existed. So like somebody writes a codex and it's for spirituality, and then it gets absorbed by war parties, PR firm, like anyone who wants to try to use this for exposure, they end up doing a version of what you created, and it would be even worse if you were sort of a sacrifice for atonement in the creation of this, right? So what happened with it? Similar to like AA, they try to mess with your using. There's no like set in stone version of by the book how you're supposed to conduct anonymous groups. They have a structure and a way to try to, the structure is principles before personality or something like that. And then they try to fuck with your using, with your using, because you have to come forward and explain what and like open up to the group so that they can have some commonality, then they can deduce when you're abusing. So they don't mess with your abusing, they mess with your using, because that's where you can identify what you're doing wrong before it becomes abuse. When something, let's say for instance Islam, right? When it originated from South Africa, it was like a botanical tract. It's part of the liberal arts, if you wanted to say, because they practice. It was part of the autonomy, self-reliance of knowing plants that can yield materials, medicine, food, cultivation, opportunism based on lunar cycle, and it's geographically specific to South Africa. So if it doesn't work anywhere else, they could still contrive an astral plane religion. So that's why you see the moon in the Islam, is like, it's kind of L7, how these Masons wanted to get their foothold into the slave trade, so they imported roots, botanical magic, if you want to call it, because in Africa it's a different purpose. They don't have the same definition for what a demon is. There's no such thing as black magic. But when these Masons come back to the West Nile Valley, and they're trying to develop on some alternative to Christianity, some Chrislam or some Aristotelian come from, is Aristotle. So they've tried to refather Christianity through Aristotle. Take this occultic, arcane pantheism knowledge back to trying to go around, like it's trying to go around the imprint of the footprint. You know what I mean? Like you made a footprint. The indentation is the weight of your faith pushing down, making this footprint. So it's the power of the belief and the faith. Then even after he's long gone, he's still here. He's still telling people take a step around the rear. He's still telling them to get behind him. And you can't debate that, is that they did not have this imprint because they come up with this alternative, mystery science religion from Egypt, having gone back there because Joseph, the father of Christ, is from Egypt. They want to create a symbolic, like it's kind of like what they already knew Egypt was good at, but by this time it had evolved into dynastism. So that's why they were allowed back. The Ptolemaic, the Macedonians were allowed back into the mystery schools because they had infiltrated into the fabric of that culture through dynasty. And they come with like Mithri, like it's stuff like they come up with stuff like it's like I don't know. Mithri is like, okay, that was before Israel stuff. Like, okay, Israel, they were doing something that wasn't, what they became. It was doing some Baal worship. Yahweh and Baal were fighting each other to become the same God because they were so much alike. King David is a Yahwehite, and so they have to be an ecumenical council. Otherwise, King David would have killed Melchizedek because he wouldn't have come to the understanding that Yahweh and Cyril are the same. So a priest of Cyril is the same thing as being a priest of Yahweh. So, because they would kill him. Yeah, if they weren't the same priesthood, they would have killed him. So it's like saying, in one sense you feel like, oh, I'm left out because I'm not an Orthodox Christian observing ecumenical councils. But what does ecumenism even mean? Why do they need it? What does the word ecumenism mean? Why do they need it? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put anything down. We're trying to make an argument for it. How do you interact with cultures that rely on different symbolism with different demonology? They've already, things have already played their course to yield the return, to yield the events that happened. So this trying to go back for a better understanding is also a good group to blend in with. And I think it's blending, not it's not so much as the people that are ignorant and don't have the precepts to understand. So they make claims like there's contradictions here, but they don't know how to interpret in the first place. It's the ones blending in with them to go back for more understanding, but they're on a side mission, and that which was to take pantheism into holistics. It's like they're Thomist. They're not ecumenical council. They're Thomist. They believe in all faith religions will have some truth, and they're kind of like trying to rebrand Christianity under Aristotle, and New Age mystery science, religion, and geometry and shit. It's like it's useful to an extent. You can entertain New Age thought for a little while, but then with the Aristotelian matriarchy, it leads further into psychosis and ritualistic satanic killing and serial killer stuff. It was almost like hiding in plain sight for a while. Serial killers could get away with, because the police department did not want to acknowledge a connection between something that some animal did that you can dehumanize much more easily than you can identify with the traits of their Aristotelian matriarch. It's not against women. It's not against monarchy. It's against, what I'm saying is about the Aristotelian matriarch believes that humiliation renders good behavior. And that is a direct conduit to the subconscious to the physical, your locality, your physical domain. It's a thought projected through a conduit from the subconscious amenta into the physical. That's hell. That is hell. It's one of the four corners of hell. So I'm trying to tie it all together, and there's someone with trying to blend. They're trying to create a technocratic caste system similar to India in America. And they sponsored Islam right around the same time, a little bit after Christianity. It's almost like a PR firm or some militia or something decided to make that Christ the monarch. No, not monarch. The what's it called? The moniker. Their moniker. It's almost like everybody could repurpose and maybe something that started out as a liturgical pilgrimage led by a high priest would end up as a concert, what's it? They have the Protestant amphitheater concert hall style worship. It's not really anybody's fault. Even those are Christians, even if they are doing it wrong and have no idea what an ecumenical council is. Because I could never deny the fact that they were brought into the theology and the worldview that they have. It's just so if I say, it seems like I eliminated Catholics. It seems like, but the reason I'm not eliminating them, they just tried to rebrand by going back to Egypt. They tried to circumvent and go back and come back with a better version. And it's outside of ecumenical councils. It's scientism it looks like religiosity. Perhaps they would be better served with the Ubermensch mentality, because scientism and religiosity seem to be counterbalanced to each other, veering far off. So going to extremes, they kind of counterbalance, and then there's another extreme, but the Ubermensch would be outside of it. It's just that if it's successful, you could become a bootstrapping superior mind, like a high-minded superiority complex. That's the pitfall of it. But it at some point served a purpose to keep you from veering too far off course through scientism or religiosity. That's just my coming together to come up. Even if this holds fast, it's true to the nature of reality, there's going to be reasons where this is just like some total, like, thanks very much, idiot. Like, shut the fuck up. Because there's always something where it's like, oh, this thing, is this useful for what I'm trying to figure out? If it's not, then it's just a list of things that I think I know that I'm just repeating. I'm not listening.